hardest thing to get people to understand.
Are you at all surprised to see Anthony Edwards and just what he did this year and his breakout at all? Did you see this coming?
No. Well, no, I'm not surprised
Mm.
because I know his work ethic. When we got him, people forget that he came a year early, right? He was the
Mm.
number one player in the country a year ahead of time. So he'd been the number one junior when he reclassified. He was still the number one senior, right?
Mm.
And so he had a lot to learn. He had a lot to learn. There had to be an accountability to him, all right, and to what he had to gain, right,
Mm.
and to the accountability that he had to be held to. But he also had a lot of learning to do, and it took him about 3 weeks inside of the summer to realize, like, this guy's not playing around. You know, they're gonna make me learn, right?
Mm.
Because he was pretty good, right? But we wanted to take his game and not only get it ready for us, but get it ready for the next level. But he made a big jump in the sense
Mm.
of going from a high school junior to a college freshman that everybody had their eyes on.
Mm.
So to me, I knew when we had him inside of that year because he made a lot of growth, and it didn't always play out on the court, right? But he made a lot of growth. He learned a lot about spacing, shot selection, and we didn't curb all that. There's no doubt about that. He learned a lot about work. He always worked on his own. Like, I've never coached a guy that was in the gym more after games, all right, working on his
Mm.
game than this guy was. Anthony
Huh.
at 8, unbelievable. And I think he still does it, but
Yeah.
unbelievable. I mean, we could win and he'd go in that gym and work out after the game. But he had to learn how to play in small groups. And one of the things that young players really struggle with when they come in is, especially if they've been some of the better players, that's why you got to recruit programs more than you recruit teams. Recruiting high school programs, I think it's the same with the portal. You got to recruit programs now because there's got to be some learning that they've done to make them better. And when you recruit program guys, they have an understanding of how hard they have to work in practice. And
Mm.
so, because right now this world is raised so much on individual workouts, so much on being with their trainer, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine, right? It's absolutely fine. Some of my closest friends are trainers, and some of the people I respect most in basketball are trainers.
Mm.
But okay, you've got to be able to play in small groups, right? You've got to be able to play in your one-on-one setting with another instructor. You've got to be able to play with 3 other people, 5 other people, maybe 7 other people inside of a group setting, and you've got to be able to play in the team setting, right?
Mm.
The 5-on-5 setting, full team setting. And what you have to teach players is they don't get to shortcut any of it. They don't get to shortcut their individual part. They don't get to shortcut their small group, and they don't get to shortcut the team. And the more talented you are, a lot of times, the less you understand those aspects. And he had to learn all that. But my biggest thing was, and I would say this to every team I talked to, his next 2 years, because he's only 20. He's not even 21, right? His next 2 years after he left us were going to be absolutely crucial, all right? Because if he didn't get into a development program that held him accountable, if they didn't spend, and I mean the head coach, main assistants, absolutely spending time with him, helping make him better, that he could stagnate. But if he got into a development program, he was going to take off. And there were certain teams that I wanted no part of him going to, right? And I said it, but I wouldn't now. But like, you wanted him to be in a development program, and I think
Yeah.
that's exactly what he's gotten in Minnesota.
Yeah, he's so much fun to watch, and he just seems like such a likable kid. Like, he's just so fun. Like you said, he's a great hard worker, but he's just a fun kid.
Well, he is who he is.
Yeah.
He's there's no false airs, right? He's not trying to put on. Now, he'll put on a show.
Mm.
But he's not trying to put on an act.
Right.
There's a big difference.
Yeah.
He can put on a show, but he's not an actor, right?
Mm.
I know he's getting ready to play in that movie with Adam Sandler, so I guess he is an actor.
Yeah.
There's no act to him, right?
Mm.
Like, that's who he is, and what he's got that he's got a level of empathy as a human being. He loves his teammates. Now he don't love you if you don't work hard and if you try to big time him and you act privileged. Now he doesn't. Players don't want to be around other guys that act privileged, but like, he loves his teammates, and he is a great teammate, one of the best I've ever coached. And he was only 18 when he was there. But I'm not shocked that he's doing it, and it's not going to shock me. What I want to see happen, and he knows it, and I've said it to people in Minnesota, I'd love to see him be on that all-defensive team as early as he can possibly be. I was always hoping he'd be the earliest of all my guys. Wade made it when he was 23, I think it was. Victor at 26. I'd love to see Anthony make that all defensive team as the youngest, and I think he's fully capable of doing that.
Absolutely.